There's a lot of variations, but basically Chicano went from being a negative term that was reclaimed as a positive thing in the 60s to kind of highlight their unhappiness with the term Mexican American because that was identifying with American culture, whereas Chicano was an attempt to link them with indigenous and Mexican culture. The Chicano movement, who made itself visible in the 1960s, was a result of not only the connection with farm workers that at this time, with the help of Cesar Chavez, were urging for better wages, but also a quest to find their identity as Chicanos. The Chicano movement was used to place an emphasis on the necessity of having full political rights. During the Chicano movement, women were excluded and denied access to leadership. Although women were being oppressed, together they created a response to the oppression by making women open their eyes and fight the oppression. Chicanas felt the urge to create a movement that centered on the inequalities which existed between male and female roles. By women creating these movements and breaking down barriers, women today have the ability to become leaders.
A Chicano is, to me, someone that lives in between two cultures where maybe they don't belong. For instance, a lot of the main concept of being Chicano is being stuck between being an American and being, from Latin America, wherever it is, whether it's Peru or Bolivia or Mexico or something like that, some sort of Latin indigenous culture where you don't really belong to either one, where you're either too Mexican for America, but then you're too gringo for, being Mexican. So it's really coming together and discovering that there is that middle ground, that there's somewhere you belong here, and that's really like the emphasis of being a Chicano. And it's not so much maybe even one person or maybe even Latin American culture. It's just really a place where people who understand that they're between these two cultures and they can all come together and understand that they're not alone, and that there's a whole group of other people that can be diverse and be multicultural and understand that we're all here and we're all humans. And I personally believe that I am Chicana because I am between these two cultures. I may not speak Spanish fluently and I may not, know every single tradition, but I do have a lot of the, culture as I grew up, and I really do consider myself American. So I really find myself in between. I find myself a Chicana.
Chicano is a Mexican American person.
Do you consider yourself Chicano?
No, I don't.
Why is that?
Because I'm Mexican.
What does it mean to be a Chicano or Chicana?
Well, I definitely came into the period when my generation was really coming to that consciousness, like a political consciousness. So generally it means a person of Mexican descent, born in the U.S., although now that's changed. People could be raised in the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. But that are definitely aware of their identity, take pride in their identity, but also it's a political consciousness, it's an awareness generally, right? And so it's a form of self-naming as opposed to having a label imposed on you. And so, that's how I was first introduced to it, right? Through my own awareness and consciousness as a young woman. But of course, over time, there have been many different influences and changes, and so you have people, for example, many people from Central America, although they're also autonomous and have their own struggles and history, you have people many times that are raised with Chicanas and Chicanos, but perhaps will identify with that experience, right? So there are nuances, but I would say kind of like one of the basic definitions is a person that takes on their own identity, self-names, and has a political and social.
Gracias. Mi barrio, el barrio de todos, Yo soy chicano, señores, nací al lado americano. Para México soy pocho, no me aceptan mis hermanos, los güeyes.
Soy chicano, 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 yeah. Soy chicano, nacido aquí, born here, con sueños de allá, dreaming of there. Yeah, I am a child of this country, the stepson of another. Born a Chicano cause I am a different color, and there's no place I can really call my own. The whites never liked me and my people sent me home. So I am here in the bottomless well, free falling in a race that will never excel. The son of immigrants just following a dream that many follow, but they swallowed in the scheme of things, cause ain't no promise in tomorrow. A lot of people hunger for the mighty US dollar. So I didn't deal with my share of fallacies. My parents left at home and all they wanted was a fantasy. So I ain't never been long, cause if I said I was from here, they said I was wrong. And I was proud from what I was made, but it didn't matter cause to them I still was a slave. A son of poverty, somebody here to work. The thought of education made them see me with a smirk. I felt ashamed, not able to claim was in the